Hey everyone, welcome back to Kev Shop 1.84329, stardate 7326.8. Real quick, we'll get into the Carmageddon stuff, but I wanted to get you guys a fun, easy, quick, cheap shop necessity tip, and that is hockey pucks. It's obviously hockey season, so this is easy. Hockey pucks, this is a pack of 12 from Ace Fox, and I think they're legit. Pretty sure they are. We'll open it up and find out. But I have a bunch of these in my shop in Ohio, and I have a dozen down here. These are incredibly handy, not just for jacking up cars and putting cars on the lift and stuff like that, but you can use them as spacers. And because they're so cheap, they're about, I don't know, $1.50 or $2 a puck. So let me open these up. Now I have some kind of cutting tool here. We're going to do some toolbox reorganization here soon too, because I'm using like a bare razor blade to open this. And we have our new rolly stool. We're on our Harbor Freight rolly stool. Very happy about that. Oh, comes with a bag. And of course, all the pucks are individually wrapped. They're in Ziploc. The Ziploc bags. Okay. That's handy. I guess it keeps them fresh because rubber does degrade. So, and yeah, these are, they're actually a little bit smaller, but they're great for the shop. They're super cheap. You can also take a saw or a razor blade or whatever, and you cut them in half, and you can do half pucks, which help you get under cars that are super low. It's nice. They're rubber. When they get abused or chunked up or whatever, you don't really care. You just pitch it and call it done. So yeah, this is a box of 12. Again, box of 12 will probably last you 5 years, depending on how many cars you go through. Like we went through a lot of cars in the shop. So I think I got a 24 pack for my shop, but I took probably 8 or 10 of them to the Motorplex. So I've had them for a long time. They're super handy, and you can use them all over the place. When you have stuff like this, like a hard top, and you don't want to set it on the floor, you can put a hockey puck here, one on the back corner, keep it off of the floor, all of that stuff. Hey, Juan. Yeah, tonight I wanted to, I talked about it on Facebook and Instagram a little bit earlier, and I wanted to get into it with you guys tonight and see what you thought and get your opinions. So I did the tool thing first. I'm going to get these out of the way quick, just so I don't rolly stool out of them. I'm very happy with the rolly stool. This is great. I love this thing. It's brand new too, so Troy hasn't screwed it up or anything. Hey, Brian. Oh, hey, Brian, are we going to see you at Road Atlanta? I'm trying to keep up with you guys. I'm not quite sure if you guys confirmed or not. So let me know if you guys are going to Road Atlanta. These guys have an awesome Miata, and they posted on Instagram a ton of stuff. Oh, yeah, hell yeah. All right, cool. Now, next question. What number are you? Because I have a bone to pick with someone who has a specific number. So I don't think it's you guys, but all right, just making sure. Whoever has number 777, we're gonna have a formal discussion with. Yeah, Juan, I do everything in here. So it's funny, as part of my year-end list and part of doing the new shop here, I asked my friends to help me remember all of the cars that have been through my shop in Ohio, and there have been hundreds. I started a list a couple of weeks ago and keep adding to it. My motorhome was in there. Motorcycles, cars, trucks, Vipers, Miatas, race cars, Ferrari challenge car, Lambos. There's literally been everything. Kias, Subarus, all of it. So we don't discriminate. There's no reason for that because there's a car for everyone. Just because you love XYZ doesn't mean that everyone else does. And so yeah, we've got everything. Yeah, we actually had a Kia in there. It was a Kia. My buddy Troy was doing an engine swap because he had blown up his engine, and it was the 2 liter 2 liter World engine. I'd not worked on one before, and we got the long block and we painted it what we call Dubai gold, and it was just the most obnoxious thing to have this boring Kia with this like SEMA ready engine bay. It was very funny, very funny. Yeah, sorry, man. I again, like I said, I don't discriminate. I'll take anything in there if I can help someone learn how to fix it. That's how it goes. And the other cool part is when there's new cars that come in, I get to learn. So if it is a Kia, I don't know how they do, how they route their power steering lines. So I get to learn how to do stuff like that. It's all a learning process. If it's not for the person in my shop, then it's for me or for both of us. When it comes to Miata stuff and Viper stuff, yeah, I can do that fairly quickly. Not a big problem. Dodge Ram stuff, I can do a lot of the Chrysler stuff. I can do pretty quickly. Oh, hey, Liz. So yeah, we've got a. I don't discriminate. There's no reason to. Like I said, there's amazing cars out there. For a long time, I was a Vector W4 guy or W2 guy, and then I realized, holy crap, there's a lot of other cars out there. And then Vector went away, and Jerry went away, and all this. So there's no reason to be, a huge. You can always have your favorites. That's great, but definitely don't push anything away because there's tons of cool stuff out there. People make fun of, JDM or whatever. Don't. Please don't. They got a ton of cool stuff over there. Even Russian cars, the Lada, there's cool stuff coming out of Russia now. So, and Russian guys, like, what were they doing? They're putting like twin turbo Ferrari engines in tractors. Come on, that's cool as hell. They're doing like huge burnouts in fields. That's just awesome. So you can't really shut people out. It really limits you and hinders your learning. So yeah, Liz, you're correct. Whether it's, here's a funny one for you. So my daily is a Jeep Cherokee, one with the little ninja headlights, and I was working on a Maserati. Oh God, what is it? It's the little mini SUV that you can get a twin turbo V6 in. God, I forgot the model name now. I'm totally drawing a blank. But anyway, it's basically the same vehicle as my Jeep. It just has a different interior and different engine options. But the window switches are exactly the same. So there's no difference. Like there's a lot of stuff that crosses over and they all grab from the same parts bin. So you can learn from stuff like that. So if someone does have that Maserati, they don't need to pay $800 for the window switch thing. They can pay $80 for it. It's the exact same thing from Jeep. So it's something like that. Not even Harbor Freight sells Kia. Yeah, well, I will say this. We've not had a lot of Kias in the shop. I would say maybe one or two over the course of more than a decade. So I'd say we're doing okay. We've had a lot more Corvettes. We've had a lot more Subarus. We've had a lot more Miatas and MR2s. So yeah, it's been a little different. This is all going very quickly. Brian, yeah, we'll be there. We just finalized our theme, and you guys have you guys are lucky because Liz is the one who actually found our theme for this year. And no sneak peeks yet. We got to finish the graphics. Yeah, Liz, the Levante. That was the model. Yeah. So I don't know Brian's theme. I'm guessing you guys are still going to go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because that's kind of your paint job. If you guys do something different, I'm going to love seeing it. Hey, Diane. Dan, did you send me a message about the Kia Soul and doing the engine in there? I don't remember. I remember that you told me your daughter abused the holy hell out of that in less than 72 hours, but I don't remember. I don't remember if we were going to do an engine swap for you or not. Yeah, nice, Brian. Hopefully, someone on your team memorized the Vanilla Ice rap, and they're dressing as Robert Van Winkle, and they're gonna do the rap during judging. That would be absolutely epic. Ninja, what is it called? Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. I forgot the name of the song. It's a ninja rap. Oh, that's right. You got it done under warranty. Yeah, yeah. Now I remember. It's been a while since the Kia Soul, the Kia Soul debacle. Why does my car need oil? Can't I just run it without oil? No, you can't. Yeah, yeah, definitely, Brian. That's cheating, though. When you're using small children for your judging, that's cheating because they always win. Yeah. Oh, okay. Your youngest driver. So that'll be at least 18. That's still kind of on the cusp, but that's all right. We don't go there to win anything. We go there to have an absolute blast and hang out with guys like you and all the other teams. And like I've been talking about, and I know you talk about it on your channel too. The the stuff we do at Lemons, there's nothing like it. I don't care where you go. You go to F1, and these guys have $5 million cars. It's $1 million a weekend for those guys. They are not having as much fun as we are at Lemons for what, 2 grand? I mean, it's 2 grand to enter. It's probably a $4,000 or $5,000 weekend for all the money included. No one is having more fun. Plus, I guarantee you, way more shit blows up in Lemons than it does in F1, than it does in NASCAR, than it does anywhere else. So yeah, you got to be there for the start. You got to be there for the first 10 laps, and yeah, that's like it's so amazing. And the best ones, and I don't know if you guys got to experience this, but the 24-hour races are really hardcore. I really wish they do more of them. I know they're huge liability and they're very expensive, but the 24-hour races are incredible too. You'll see some stuff, some engineering and some ingenuity and some kindness and camaraderie and teamwork you've never seen before. You're not seeing it in F1. You're not seeing it anywhere else. Can you imagine Red Bull going over to Mercedes at 2 o'clock in the morning and saying, "Hey, do you guys have a throttle cable?" Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what would happen? I can't even fathom that. I don't know. But at Lemons, that is a total natural reoccurrence, and it happens throughout the day. Hey, do you guys have a head gasket for, a 2.4 liter, multicam? Yeah, sure. We've got 2 spares. And then you'll see a guy, hey, we couldn't find a head gasket for our Miata, so we're going to use the edge of this cardboard box as our head gasket. Go and run it. You're like, this is such a bad idea. So yeah, you see really amazing stuff and guys really trying to crank through to win. And here's the best part. So in F1, there's huge purses, right? In Lemons, if you win, if you're the very best all weekend, the most laps, kick ass on track all weekend, $500. That's the very best you can do. You can do $500, and they give it to you in nickels, and it's in a bag. It's not rolled. It's a big bag of nickels, and it's $500 worth. It's 1,000 nickels. So there you go. Good luck. Or no, how many nickels is it? 2,000 nickels. $500. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's what you're doing it for. And in F1, they're doing it because they love seeing themselves on camera, and those guys are actually pretty damn good drivers. But there's a lot more money involved, but I guarantee you they are not having as much fun as we are. Guarantee it, absolutely guarantee it. I mean, we're at pit race, and I've told this story a bunch of times. We're at the drivers' meeting. It's very cold. It's very early in the morning, and there's a guy walking around with a huge tray. And it's like 4 inches deep, and it's this big tray, and there's a little jar of toothpicks. And he's got thick cut bacon. It's like ½ inch thick, and it's glazed beautifully. And he's offering this bacon up to everyone. There's 300 people at this drivers' meeting, and he's walking through the crowd just offering up bacon. And people are grabbing a toothpick, grabbing a couple pieces, and there you go. He is not racing. He's not part of Lemons. He's not part of their crew. He's there to cook a pig all weekend and serve, pulled pork sandwiches, thick cut bacon at breakfast. He's there to have a good time and enjoy the people. You're not going to see that you might see it at NASCAR. You're not going to see it at F1. So let's see what we've got here. A 16-year-old reached out. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah. We've had rookie drivers with very minimal, or sometimes in some cases absolutely no track time at all. My friend John was a drag racing guy. All he really did was drag race, and then obviously all the stuff that he did in Mexico with street racing. Big street racing scene south of the border. So we asked John, and John was like, "Yeah, this sounds fun. The cars kick ass, and this should be fun." And we got him in the car, and he was terrified. He was terrified. The first 2 laps, we could see it on camera. He was, he didn't think it was a good idea at all. And after that, he's giggling like an idiot for 45 minutes. He's absolutely loving it. He's calling guys out. Oh, nice pass, and oh, break, and you can hear it, and it's great. Again, you're not going to get that in other racing. It's either going to be way too competitive, or way too serious, or way too much money involved. So that's why we love Lemons. You can get a rookie guy, and it's going to be incredibly safe. Just so everyone knows, this isn't. They say they're $500 cars, but Brian can back me up on this. My $500 car, according to Lemons rules, is $151. That's according to Lemons rules, and I have all the receipts to prove that. According to the actual receipts in my big red book that has all the notes and build notes and receipts for everything, the car is over $22,000. And that does not include 1 second of labor. And I've had probably over 50 people work on the car. So you're looking, if just for conservative estimate on labor, you're looking at, let's say, a $50,000 car. It's not cheap, and it does take a lot of time. And there are, there's stuff you have to do. You have to do a roll cage, and if you do a professional roll cage, it's about $3 to $5 grand. If you do a roll cage yourself, it's still about $2,000. You have to do fire suppression. That's required now, and that's required, I think, pretty much across the board. Everything above autocross is requiring fire suppression. So that's $1,000 right there, like right off the bat. The seat and seat belts, $1,000 minimum. Even for just the bare minimum fiberglass 3-inch belt, you're going to spend $1,000. So it adds up very quickly. But no sanctioning race series is safer than Lemons, unpaid. So once you get into NASCAR F1 and stuff, those guys have some serious safety stuff too. But Lemons is more strict than NASA, more strict than SCCA, more strict than SVRA, more strict than HSR, more strict than Champ Car. They're extremely strict and very specific. And that's because they want to keep people safe. And they do have, rookie drivers like this, like 16, 18-year-old kid, never been on track before, wants to go out on track. If, one of the spec M guys comes blasting through there at 130 and bonks into the kid in the Miata, we all know that Miata is incredibly safe. Roll cage is fine. It's got fire suppression, whatever. We don't really have to worry about that. So that's why Lemons is great, because you can have a rookie in there. You don't really have to worry about it. They're very strict with their rules too. You have a 2 off, you're getting black flagged. You are getting talked to. And it's not like you can just come back on the track and keep doing laps. Minor infractions definitely get a visit from race control. So don't screw up, know your car, know what you're doing. So that's why Lemons is a ton of fun, especially for learning and especially for going out on track. You are legit wheel-to-wheel racing. This is a real race. There's a green flag, there's black flags, red, yellow, checkered, all that. It is legit racing. There's timing, there's scoring, all of that. But you can do it pretty cheap. You get a race license. I think race licenses are $100 now. They used to be 75, but everything's more expensive now. And you can get a fully equipped Lemons car ready to go for $5,000. So yeah. We're actually that's a good one. A lot of people show up early because they'll barbecue or they'll camp out in the paddock the night before, which is also a ton of fun. When the track goes cold, the real party starts. I mean, we're having a blast out on the track and we're all, kicking ass. But when they throw the checkered and everyone comes in, that's when you hear the cans and everyone has a great time. And then there's a big potluck on Saturday night, which is a lot of fun. You bring food in, just mountains of food. It's great. We're staying at a vineyard. One of our drivers' parents, they own a vineyard just outside of Road Atlanta, about a half hour out. So we're going to be staying there. And I think I'm getting there on Wednesday. And then I'll go to the track Thursday, set up tents, drop the car off, set up tents and paddock there. And we'll be ready on Friday. We are not practicing on Friday. There is they call it the Friday curse. If you practice on Friday, you don't race all weekend because you blow up your car on Friday. So that's the Lemons curse. So we are not practicing on Friday, but we do scouting on Friday. So we learn, who's fast, who's not fast, and also whose car will not be running on Sunday when we're out there. That's how you use the Friday practice, is to find out who's not going to be out there on Sunday. No, and it's great. Whenever they let you in early, that's really great. So yeah, definitely come find us. I will be. We'll have the MR6 again. It will be mostly white again. Our theme does not require a full wrap, so we're just going to do some graphics on there. And we might have party favors. I don't know. One of the guys is in charge of the costumes and stuff, so he'll let me know how many accessories we have. But those might be available. And then, we'll be going back and forth to the vineyard each night. We're not going to camp at the track, although it's tons of fun to camp at the track. Oh, you guys are going to do practice on Friday. We should start sanding. No, I'm just kidding. Road Atlanta, I don't know if you have a sim rig. If you have a sim rig, practice Road Atlanta on the sim, either iRacing or Corsa or whatever, and practice it there. It's almost as good. That's where I practiced it. The only other time I'd been there was like parade laps. So we're only doing like 50 miles an hour. So practice on the sim if you can. That helps. And then on Saturday, if you start off mid-pack, you will know the track in the first 10 minutes or in the first 10 laps, and then you can trim down from there. You're not going to be behind the curve too far. It's not like Mid-Ohio, where it is incredibly technical, and every 2 feet matter at Mid-Ohio. If you botch turn 6, 7 and 8 are done. You've screwed yourself for 7 and 8, and you have to think forward to 9, 10, 11. It's not like that at Road Atlanta. Well, there's a section there, 10A, 10B. If you screw up 10A, 10B is bone. And there's maybe 1 or 2 sections like that, but Road Atlanta is very forgiving. the cresting the hill and coming down the front straight. I'm sure when it's dry, it's a ton of fun. Last year we were soaking. It was absolutely pouring rain all 4 days, and it was hard. And there were cars that would come down, spin out, and then just keep going. And technically, they didn't go off track, so they didn't get black flagged. But you watch these guys come down the hill, and coming down the hill on the front straight, you have all that momentum. And our car is super torquey, so we have all that torque to just launch us down the hill. Go down the front straight, you go up the hill, you make the right for turn one, and you go up the hill. That's where we do a ton of our passing, is right after turn one. Our little car has all this torque from the Camry engine. So when other cars are struggling and having to downshift, we can just stay in third gear and just climb the hill. So, and then we'll get past later on somewhere else in one of the turns. We'll have a guy in a Miata absolutely dive bomb us in six. We have to brake so early for that. And the Miata comes right by, and we're just like, damn it, I just passed that guy. As a Miata owner and driver, I know exactly the feeling. Watching that car that just blew right past you, and you go into a turn, and you watch him brake at the 4, and you're going to brake right after the 2. So you zoom right past him and, cut right underneath him. And it happens at every track. You watch the Miata dive bombs are the best, man. They're the best. You have like me, I got a 600 horsepower, 640 horsepower Viper. I can blast any Miata on any straight, no problem. I do it in third gear. I don't need 6. But coming to the turn, yeah, I got 3,200 pounds. I have to make stop from 140, 150 miles an hour. The Miata was only doing 105. So, and he only weighs 2,000 pounds. He just taps the brakes and he's gone right through the corner. Meanwhile, I'm trying to keep this huge thing straight as I'm coming into the turn. So yeah, it'd be it's fun when you have a car like that that's built for the track. You guys have a really, really kick-ass setup with the Miata. Problem is keeping it going, just like everyone else. You hammer on it and hammer on it, and you push and you push and you push, and you find the weak links. So that's the fun part. Yeah, I don't know if there is a slow driver on any team. I think everyone is the fast driver, because when the other teams are out there, they'll have different drivers too. So if you're the slowest, someone else might have their fastest guy out there. It's kind of like hockey in shifts. You want your best line out there when their fourth line is out there. So it'll happen all the time. You'll get past, you get lapped by one dude in the Honda Civic, and then a session later in the afternoon, you're blasting past that car. That's because they have a different driver. So you're not always the slowest driver. Nah. You might be the slowest guy on your team, but you're not the slowest guy out there. You're not. And a lot of people are fearful of that. They're fearful of being the slowest, or messing up or anything like that. It is a lot of mental and just relaxing. Take a deep breath. Know where your corners, your corner workers are, your flag stations, and know where pit in and pit out is. And like I tell my team, here's the deal with the car. If you're not having fun, come in. We'll swap out drivers. They'll go back out. You can come in, grab something to eat, grab a drink, whatever, relax, take a nap. Who cares? We've got drivers to cover that will go lap out. If you're not having fun, you're going to make a mistake, and you're going to screw the car up, and that might screw you up. If it's not doing that, then you're going to screw someone else's car up and someone else up, and that's even worse. So come in, relax, take a break. If it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. Who cares? Don't drive. Don't drive unhappy. Be happy when you're driving, and you'll also be faster when you're doing that. You will be a lot quicker. You'll make smarter decisions, and just if you're not having a good time, just come in. And there are certain drivers out there, and I'm sure you guys have seen this on Lemons, and I've talked about it. They have a lot of guys have gotten smart. Lemons has gotten very good about this, especially in the last couple of years. But there are teams that have figured out that $1,800 is actually a very good deal for 4 drivers to go out there and hot lap whatever track, Road America, for 2 days. That's actually a hell of a deal. So unlimited laps, pit stops, whatever. So you'll have guys from like the spec, is it? Yeah, it's spec M, and uh, uh, you'll have like pro built Mercedes, and they'll put like a SpongeBob, SquarePants sticker on their car. That's our theme. Maybe a stuffed Patrick in the driver's seat. It's kind of a shitty theme, and they don't really care because they're getting hot laps in their car, and they're getting practice at the track that they want. So it's kind of like a really, really almost a private track day because they have this super badass 500 horsepower car that they're going to go hammer around the track all weekend. Yeah, they have to fight off the occasional minivan or Miata, but they're getting all these laps in and they're getting the shake down the car and all that stuff. So Lemons has gotten pretty good about cracking down on those guys, and you don't really have to worry about it. That's another reason why it makes it very safe. They don't have these guys coming in with these Pro Series cars, these GT3 cars. Once you take the SpongeBob sticker off, he's in uh, GT1 in NASA or in SCCA. So you don't want that. That's not part of the fun weekend. The fun weekend is trying to catch that goddamn Ford Aerostar. Where the hell did he get all the power from? And that's the fun part. And then after the race is over, talking with all the people and seeing all they have crazy builds. You think SEMA has crazy builds? Get out of here. Not even close to what Lemons has seen. Just look at the pictures. It was the 944 with the K5 Blazer front. You ever seen that at SEMA? I didn't think so. What else you got? I've never seen so many eBay turbos in real life in my life. Like legitimate eBay turbo kits, like $79 turbos on a PT Cruiser. And I don't mean a turbo. I mean like they put like 4 turbos on. The manifold looks like a 10th grade welding project. And they have 4 turbos on there. And they have a mega square computer running it. And it's like, it's not good. And it's going to blow up. But hey, whatever. You're not going to see stuff like that, at any. It's not going to be a World of Wheels. It's not going to be at SEMA or PRI. None of these engine builds are going to be at PRI. So yeah, all the aerodynamics in the vans. Yeah, there was at South Carolina a couple of years ago. There was a XJ Cherokee on a I want to say an S550 chassis, and that thing kicked ass. That was a really killer. Those guys were hammering. And then a couple of years ago at Lemons Pittsburgh, there was another XJ, and they were running the stock 4-liter. It had been rebuilt, but originally it had like 200,000 miles on it or something. So it had like new rings and new bearings, and then they had automatic transmission. They still had the automatic transmission. They pulled the 4-wheel drive, the front drive shaft and diff, and just ran it rear-wheel drive. And it was amazing. That thing hauled all weekend. So XJ might be, no, it's not XJ, WJ. Is that right? I don't know. It's the late 90s 2-door Cherokee. And these guys were kicking ass. The Mustang one was awesome. Was it KFC? I'm trying to remember their theme. The one in South Carolina was, I want to say blue or brown, and then the one at Pit Race was white. So it could have been a KFC. But another thing, don't be afraid, and that's why I offer to people, if you want to come to the event, I'll pay your spectator fee because I want to get more people into racing. Whether you're racing with Lemons or NASA or SCCA or anyone else, and whether you're doing, autocross at the high school parking lot, or you're going to get your comp license and, do what I did and go, hopefully get a drive, and someone pays you to, hammer the Ferrari around the track or hammer the Porsche around the track. Yeah, and you get out of the car and someone else replaces the tires and fills the tank and changes the oil. You don't have to do anything. That's great. Trust me, I speak from experience. That's a lot of fun. But it's also fun to have a CV joint go out and you have a spare CV and axle ready to go. And you spend the 4 minutes, you're so good at it. You take 4 minutes to pull the hub apart and jam it back in, lock it down, put the wheel back on and get out there. So there's, two different sides to it. So that's why I do that. And I offer that so that people get addicted to it. And I don't want to say addicted, but it is. Brian, it's a huge addiction. Juan knows too. I'll tell you that right now. Juan does car stuff. He knows. Liz does car stuff. She's addicted. Diane does car stuff. Diane's totally addicted. She drives all over the place for Viper events. I mean, all over Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio. She goes to Tail the Dragon every year. Tennessee, North Carolina. So don't tell me that's not hardcore. But once you're addicted, especially the racing stuff, it is a ton of fun. And Diane knows pit race too. She's been to pit race a bunch of times. She remembers when it was just the North track. So yeah. Tail the Dragon is fun. And that's I will tell you right now, Miata plus Tail the Dragon equals win. Viper plus Tail the Dragon, it's okay. It's fun. It's nice to have good company, but Miata on Tail the Dragon, I do that 10 times in a day. That'd be so much fun. But Viper on all the other roads, yes. Definitely come to Lemons, check it out. You're not going to meet nicer people at the track ever. I would say that it's very hard to find dickheads at the track. It's really hard. I've been doing this a long time, and I've actually probably ran into 2 assholes in all the track stuff I've done. The thousands of miles that I've traveled to all these different tracks and done all these different events at all different levels. I think 2 times. One time at VIR, and there was another time at pit race, and that is it. And those situations clear themselves very quickly, very quickly. So you really don't worry about that. Everyone's there to do a very specific thing on track, and you try and take that very seriously and not screw around with stuff. So yeah. Oh, what do we got here? Yeah, Juan. I have the Viper down here, so it'll be in here. I don't really have much to do with it, but Diane's been to the Dragon. I don't know what, 10 years, 12 years, long time. It's consuming. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Brian. It is. It's one of those things that it consumes you a little bit. You're like, I really wanted to do crystal meth, but I got to build this Miata engine so that it doesn't blow up. So you get, it's a much better addiction than anything that's unhealthy for you. So, if you guys like that, go to a Lemons race. You can check the Lemons schedule. They have races all over the country, so there's going to be one pretty close to you. Go check it out. It's $30 for the weekend to be a spectator, and they have teams looking for drivers. If you have a helmet, suit, gloves, shoes, and a few $100, you could actually drive one of the cars. I would say most of the cars are not as nice as mine. Most of the cars are not as nice as Brian's. A lot of them are pretty terrifying, but it's fun. It's always fun. Yeah, Diane, you remember the pit race guy. So I'll tell the story about the pit race guy so you guys can get a not very fun track experience. We were at pit race with the Viper Club, and the Viper Club had split the cost of renting the track out with a Pennsylvania Porsche section camp, whatever you want to call it. It was like, I don't know, Porsche has so many different divisions. It's like the Northwest Pittsburgh Pirates fans Porsche Club of Northern Beaver County. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever, who cares? It was a bunch of doctors and a bunch of guys with Porsches, and they split the cost with the Viper Club, and that makes it great. It helps with costs for everyone. It's not easy to keep that track open, and it's very expensive. Probably, I don't know. I know Mid Ohio for one day with no corner workers, no nothing, just literally the timing equipment turned on and the gates unlocked is $15,000 for the day. Pit Race is a beautiful, beautiful facility. It is leaps and bounds nicer than Mid Ohio. It's probably got to be $25,000 or $30,000 a day. So it helps when you have other clubs in there and you have 30 Viper guys and 30 Porsche guys. It works out great. Everyone gets out on track, and the Viper Club and PCA has a similar setup, but Viper Club has 4 different groups. They have green, which are the very beginners, and you go out with an instructor every time, and yellow, which is novice, and you have an optional instructor, and then you have green, yellow, blue is solo, and red is instructors and pros. And so I was asked to instruct, and so I came out there, and I get a discount if I instruct, which is great, and I love doing that, so sure. So I come out, and I'm instructing with the yellow group, and had a great time. Had who was I? No, that was with auto interest. I don't remember who I had as a student that day, but I had a really great student who progressed very nicely. So in that same group, in the yellow group, there was a guy who was a novice, and he was with the Porsche people, but he had an AC Cobra, and it was a super performance. It was a very, very nice car. The AC Cobras are a great way to kill yourself. They're just gorgeous. Get a backdraft. The backdraft ones are just awesome. So this guy had a beautiful AC Cobra, and he was taking it out for the first time out on track, and he was getting very frustrated. He was in the yellow group with an instructor, and then he said he didn't want an instructor, and there were some issues with that. So the race director at this event was my friend Rich, and this guy at lunch, we were all up in the big conference center, and this guy made a huge stink and a very big scene about not being able to take his AC Cobra at full blast. And there's 60 of us, 80 of us watching this whole thing happen. And Rich was actually pretty smart and said, all right, fine. You want to run? We'll put you in the red group. And he's like, fine, finally, good. And it was one of those, I could see all of this happening. I had the foresight to see what was going to happen. I just wasn't sure how much fire or how much, how big the explosion was going to be. So lunch finishes, and we go back out, and the green group goes, and the yellow group goes, and the blue group goes, and I'm getting ready. And what car was I in? I think I was in this Viper. I might have been in my Neon. I think I was in my Neon because I had just done stage 3 in that car in the Neon. So I was in the Neon, and no, I was in the Viper. No. I can't remember. No, I was in the Neon. So this guy goes out, and he's so happy now, right? He's extremely happy. He's going to have a blast, and he's going to go mock Jesus, and he's going to win everything because it's a track day. So he goes out there, and I'm still getting in my car, and I see Jim's purple #1 car go into grid, and I'm like, oh, this guy's in for a surprise. And Jim Stout is the owner of the track. He's also a professional racer, and he owns this great company called Coastal Pet Products. If you have a dog collar or a dog leash, you probably got it from Jim. There's about an 80% chance you got it from Jim. So Jim goes out, and he's a super nice guy, very fantastic driver. He's about this tall and just awesome guy. And Jim goes out, and I go, "This guy's in for a huge surprise." And so I pull into grid, and I'm kind of watching because I know what's going to happen. So the the grid director comes up, and he's like, "Okay, you're clear to go." And I'm like, "Hang on," and I'm like messing with my seatbelt. I'm making sure my harnesses are. And it's fine. I wanted some time because I wanted to see this guy come around, and I wanted to see a lap of what was going to happen because I knew what was coming. So, and I have a great view right there in grid. I can see all the way around. So, or not all the way, but a lot of it. And I watched Jim come. This guy goes down the front straight, and I watched Jim come down the front straight probably twice as fast, 160, probably 170 miles an hour. He's moving furniture. So I'm like, Jim's gonna catch him. All right, let's see what happens. So this guy comes around, and he comes up to 13, 14, and crests the hill, and it's kind of a fall away right. The track falls away to the left, but it's a right, a nice smooth 60-degree right. And this guy, Jim, came up on, and the comp coops, Jim is in the comp coop, and it is so loud. It's louder than his backdraft Cobra or his super performance Cobra. So he comes up over the hill, and I see Jim, and there's trees there. And as soon as he comes over the crest of the tree line, Jim bombs, absolutely comes right past him, like he was like in a parking lot. And Jim goes right past him, and it scares the shit out of the guy, and he spins out, and he goes into the grass. And that's when my harness I fixed, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm ready to go." And they're like, "All right, go out." I was like, "Okay," because I knew this was coming. And this guy got humbled very quickly. He recovered his car. He came back out on track, and he was very safe and drove normal speed, came right into the pits, went over to his trailer, loaded his car on his trailer, strapped it down, didn't say a word to anyone, and left. So one of those, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a bunch of the other Porsche guys, they worked with the Cobra guy. So they knew, I don't know if they knew what was coming, but they knew how embarrassed he was when he left. And that was one of those, it was like, yeah, all right. And then if you guys want self-embarrassment, where did my rock star go? I had a rock star here. I swear I had one. You guys see it? So, same session. You guys will love this. Same session. Jim's out there having a blast. He owns a track. Of course, he's having fun. His wife, Kathy, again, sweetest lady ever. Super awesome dog mom, incredible driver. And Kathy's in the number 2 comp coupe, the big purple people eater. These things are 700-800 horsepower cars. They are, dog box, and I mean, it's a full blast. It's a comp coupe. It's totally different than the regular Viper. So as this happens over here, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm ready to go." And then I hear Kathy coming through onto grid. And I was like, "Oh, okay, hold on, hang on one second. There's no way I'm having Kathy chase me down. She will absolutely whoop me in that car." So I point Kathy by. She knows exactly what she's doing. She goes out. Again, I tell the guy, "Okay, I'm good. Harness is on, radio's good. Okay." He's like, "All right, go out. I'm going to stay with Kathy. I'm going to be as fast as Kathy on these laps. I know it." And so for the first lap, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll stick with Kathy. I'll follow her line. Everything will be okay." I have a front wheel drive car, so it's a little different, but I'm trying to keep up with her, and I'm like, "Holy shit, she's hauling." Second lap, third lap, fourth lap, she's coming up behind me. I'm like, "Damn it!" So yeah, that was a lot of fun session. If you ever get the chance to go out to pit race, it is an absolute beautiful facility. And Jim and Kathy also own VIR, and they have turned both of those facilities into absolute world-class, beautiful facilities. I mean, the showers and the public bathrooms at Pit Race are nicer than the showers at the nearest hotel. That's how nice those track facilities are. VIR, I remember when it was like just this dirt gravel paddock. Now it's all paved with like painted lines. It's beautiful. They put millions and millions of dollars into these two facilities, and if you get a chance to go drive them, they're worth it. Absolutely worth it. If you get a chance at VIR, do the Grand Course so you get all of it and hard pen and yeses and all that. Yeah, if you get a chance, it's well worth it. Pit Race, a beautiful facility. I call Pit Race my home track because even though it's 3 hours away from where I used to live, I have more laps there than I do at all the other tracks combined. So that's why Pit Race is my home track, and I've watched it grow too. From before Jim and Kathy even bought it, back when it was called Beaver Run, and it was a little karting track, and it just had the north track. I think Kuno Whitmer set the track record at 56 seconds. That wasn't, that's not a very big track. Then Jim and Kathy built the south track and combined it, and now you're looking at almost a 3-mile lap. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. About a 2-minute, right around I think we're 2:05 in the Neon. I'm just at I'm 150, low 150s in the Viper, something like that. So yeah, I think we're right at 2 minutes in the Neon, 2:05. I know I'm 2:05 in the snow, I'll tell you that. I think I'm 2 minutes in the dry. So definitely tracks worth checking out. Curious, where do you live currently? I know it's confusing because I have a hoodie and jeans on, but I'm actually in Southwest Florida right now. I'm in Port Charlotte, Florida. I bought a house down here. This is the new house in like I said, the temporary shop. It's a 3-car garage with the Miata right behind me. The Viper goes right here, and then I can just spin you guys around. You get the 360 tour. So obviously working on the Miata hardtop. It is getting just paint, and so I was going to sand it, but if I sand it, where did my sand go? I swear I had all of this stuff out and prepared. Then I guess I was smart and like put it all away. Did. So this is my 2000 grit sandpaper, and I didn't want you guys to hear this for an hour as I'm sanding the orange peel off of the Miata hardtop. So that's why I was like, okay. So the Miata hardtop is technically in the motorcycle bay, because the motorcycles are here right now, and some leftover moving boxes and Amazon boxes. And this is funny. Brian, you will actually see contents of this box later on. These are the straps that are going to hold down the MR6 as we drive to Road Atlanta. When I brought the Miata down, I didn't have any other straps, so I just strap it down with those. I'm going to ship those back. So then over here we have the spot for the Viper, which is where the Viper normally goes, and then we have the Miata up on jack stands because we're doing all the power steering stuff for it. So that is what's here in Florida right now. And this is the shop, and there's it's considerably different than my other shop. There's no lift. I don't have $500,000 in tools. Like I said, I brought down this is my smaller toolbox. Oh, the cords are in the way here. That's my small toolbox, and that just has all the guitar stuff in it. So all the tools for doing guitar stuff, not for doing this stuff. So I've had to bring tools down and buy new tools. They'll all get used in the new shop that's getting built, because I also own a lot right next door. So right out that door is a whole other almost half an acre. And the new shop will get built there. So all those tools will transfer over. and everything from the shop in Ohio will come down here. So it is awesome down here. It is very, very nice. It's been cold the last 2 days, 65, 70 degrees, which is kind of chilly for down here, but it's really nice. I'm very happy with it, and the Viper loves it. I had the Viper out earlier today. Took the Viper to go get Miata parts, which is kind of odd. You don't usually hear about a Viper as a parts car, but it works. What did Diane say? Did a ride along with? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did. I did a ride along with Kuno too, and Kuno's not a professional race car driver. He's a magician, because we came into turn one, and this is when it was just North Track. We came into turn one, I swear, 140 miles an hour. We were in Kathy's number 2 car because it had the passenger seat. And that car is 700 plus horsepower. And we came into that, and I blinked, and it's basically a 90-degree left. It was basically a 90-degree left, very flat. And then you do another probably 100-degree right to go back up the hill. And Kuno came into that so fast. I blinked my eyes, and we were going left. We'd already made the left. It was like a magic trick. It was like, and you're going left. You did not have time to think. It was so quick and so smooth that you missed it totally. That's the difference between, like, a guy who gets paid big money to drive a car very fast, and a guy like me. When I come into that turn, you can blink a few times before I finish the turn out. With Kuno, nope. It was instant. Oh yeah, no, Diane. I think I was at the same event when we went in the 4x4s. We went in. It was like a Tahoes or whatever they had, the white Tahoes, and they had just barely bulldozed like the basic line of where the track was going. It was super rough. I remember that. So yeah, that was really cool. Jim and Kathy are big Viper people, so it helps when you're doing Viper events and they invite you out there. You get like sneak peeks of all the cool new stuff. So we got to learn all about asphalt and all the different kinds of asphalt that are available for tracks and road surfaces and all this. And then you got to learn about how expensive it is to cut down trees, and then the EPA regulations and all this stuff. You get all of the details from Jim. He doesn't hold anything back. He's very open about all of it, and he's not shy on the cost either. And then you appreciate it more, I think. When you're out there and you're paying $500 for the weekend, you're like, no, this is totally worth it. This is totally worth it. So, yeah, that was the Carmageddon thing kind of derailed a little bit when we started talking about racing. But I love racing so much, so that's why I got off track. What I talked about earlier on Facebook and Instagram was Carmageddon, and that was something. Oh, that was a different event then, Diane. Because there was a group of us. There were probably 12 or 14 of us, and we took 2 of the Tahoes and went down, and it was still really rough. Yeah, it was all just dirt and super rocky. We definitely had to use 4-wheel drive getting out of Coyote Gulch. And Coyote Gulch didn't have a name yet. So I apologize for going off on the track stuff, but I want you guys to know how much fun it is and how much I think you'd enjoy it. If you enjoy the stuff that I'm doing here, I think you'd enjoy track stuff. Whether you're driving or even just spectating, I think you'd have a good time. If you're spectating at Lemons and you're not having a good time, I can't help you, man. Take up stained glass, something like that. I don't know if there's help for you. I don't know what the hell is going on with my hair. Just like, I was in the Viper earlier and I had the window down, and I think the Viper styled my hair. And actually, I didn't even know Kathy had a Grand Cherokee. So we're even on that. So yeah, the Carmageddon stuff. I'll do that one really quick, since I talked for almost an hour about racing. The premise is I noticed that a bunch of the shows, the very popular shows, are being not canceled, but they're not renewing. They're not continuing. They're stopping production on those. One of them is Bitch and Rides with Dave Kindig and Kev Dog and his whole crew, and that's I think that's a great show. I have huge amounts of respect for Dave Kindig. He really started literally in a shop even smaller than this. It was a backyard shed and doing VW stuff. And I met Dave a couple of times. He is a super nice guy. Absolutely loves his fans. He loves everything about cars, and he's a great designer. Super super cool guy. And it's they made the announcement that they're not going to be doing the shows anymore, and that one kind of stings because I really like that show. I liked the variety of the builds that they did. I liked the creativity and the perfection that Dave had and Kev Dog and the rest of his team. The engineering was fantastic on the custom stuff they had to do, and their paint, all their paint was just, it looks like you put your fingers through it. It was beautiful. So it's kind of disappointing to see that go away. And then Brian, like you were talking about Roadkill. Roadkill was different for me. I've only seen one Roadkill episode, and I almost made it all the way through it. What's very difficult for me with Roadkill, and Roadkill is going away. They're no longer going to be on. I guess they were on Motor Trend, and they're not doing any more production. But I think the two guys are going to do their own separate thing, and I hope that's successful for them. Those two guys are brilliant. They are hardcore car guys. They are. They have mad engineering skills. They have incredible abilities. Unfortunately, they dumb themselves down, and they do really dumb stuff on purpose for shock value or for eyeballs or clicks. That eats me up inside. And I watched one with it was a Chevy Monza, and they did leaf blowers as a supercharger in a trailer behind it. And I got about 2/3 of the way through it, and I was actually nauseous and I wanted to throw up. So I know those guys are way better than that, and they do that show just for that, shock value. Hey, this is ridiculous and this is silly. It's disappointing that people really, really like that, but oh yeah, Brian, of course, that's the only episode you didn't watch. People really like that, but the problem is that becomes the standard then. People look at that and say, oh, well, those guys did it, so I can do it. And they'll go get an E36 and they'll try and put a Timu electric supercharger on it. And, they'll think it's awesome. And it's actually not. It's not reliable. It's not safe. It's not good. There's nothing positive about that. So that was very difficult for me. But to see those guys, sort of dial back their genius just for, the sake of either clicks or eyeballs or whatever, it hurt, man. It really hurt. And then they were on some Mighty Car Mods, and I love Marty and Moog. Those guys are fantastic. Come on, that's fantastic. I've been watching those guys since I don't know, probably second or third video that Marty put up on YouTube. So I've been watching those guys a long time. They did an episode with the Roadkill guys, and it was they're building a car and they're going to drive from LA to San Diego. And I did make it through that entire episode, but thank God there was MCM stuff, because watching the Roadkill guys, I was like, no, you guys know better than this. I'm watching them do all this dumb shit, and I'm like, you guys know better than that. And also, who has a blown alcohol injected 454 rat motor sitting in the corner of the garage? Nobody does. So I'm just like, and that's like, that goes back to, and then you go to like Counts Customs, and Danny's a super cool guy. He's absolutely a Vegas icon. He's super cool in the Vegas car world. His crew is crazy, and I love that. All those guys are just absolutely bonkers, and that's a lot of fun. But it hurts to watch him, cruise around in his super badass cab over, and he pulls into an Arby's parking lot, and there's one car in the parking lot, and it's a 1970, LS6 Chevelle 454. And you're just like, come on. And the guy comes out and, hey, man, oh, hey, we haven't saw your car. You interested in selling it? I don't know. Da, da, da. And they've got, a duffel bag full of hundreds that they're going to offer this guy. I've only got 80 grand here, but we go to, whatever, and get the rest. Shit doesn't happen. That's not real. But people buy it, they believe it. And that's the part that kills me is stuff like that. It's painfully fake, but people still believe it. That one hurts. That's what hurts. And so I'm wondering, since are people figuring it out? Are people getting smarter? And they're like, well, that's obviously not reality TV. That's fake reality TV, and it's totally scripted. And are people figuring this out? Are they figuring out that this isn't what we want to watch anymore? We've seen all of the, this guy comes into the shop with 2 buckets of rust, and he's like, hey, we've got a, 446 pack, original numbers. And he pulls out, the VIN on, 2 rivets and rusted panel. And we can make it better. And then you have 8 minutes of them super gluing this thing together. And then you have a commercial. And then you have 10 minutes of them struggling to fit the engine and get the wiring done before SEMA. And then you have 4 minutes of them at SEMA holding up a trophy. And you're like, where the hell is all the rest of that? And I think people are figuring it out that there is a shit ton more to what they're doing. The problem is people are getting sucked in and they believe it's so real that you can do this. You can take 2 buckets of rust and end up with a SEMA award in 48 minutes. And you can't. You cannot. The MR6, our Lemons car, that's a 5-year project. And that has, like I said, probably 50 people have worked on that car. And we've got, just in receipts, I've got $22,000 into that car. Whoa, sorry. It's the 11 o'clock one. And then, there's, all the other costs. It's not a minute of labor. There's so much involved in all that stuff. And I think people forget that, or they're naive to it and they don't understand. And then they'll go out and they'll go on Facebook Marketplace and they'll see 2 buckets of rust. And they're like, oh yeah, this dude, did a 446 pack, in Panther pink, beautiful white interior convertible. And, he won a bunch of awards at SEMA and sold it for 800 grand at Barrett Jackson. They think they're going to get into that. So these shows are leading people on that they can do this stuff. They can't. It's a massive undertaking. Massive. And then people get discouraged and they go and get these 2 buckets of rust and they're like, it's an original, E-body VIN. And, okay, we found a frame in Wisconsin, but it needs all this stuff replaced. And, it's $1,000 and it's another $500 and another $1,000 and it's 2 months to get this. The convertible top has got to be custom made. And you can only get it in one place in Southeast Asia. And they're currently at war. And, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this and people will get discouraged. And then they're like, screw it, I'm not doing it. And then they get out of it and they're not doing cars anymore. And they go to, they go to stained glass. They go to, building decks or whatever. And that's kind of disheartening when they don't realize that it is a massive undertaking to do this. And the other thing they don't show you is the crew involved. At my shop, if there's people involved, you'll see them in my videos. If you don't see people in my videos, that means it's just me. And my move down here, just me. I had 2 friends from Tampa come by and help me unload the heavy stuff from the truck, but otherwise it's been just me. Moving the Viper and all the other stuff down here. just me. I don't have a crew. I don't have a film crew. I mean, you guys see anybody here? See any crew? Yeah. I don't have an audio guy. I don't have an editor. I don't have anything like that. I'm doing all of this by myself. Doing all the car stuff by myself. Like I said, unless you see someone else here, and I showcase that in the shop. I'll say, the title will say engine swap with, Chris and Brian, and you'll know that Chris and Brian are there. So yeah, Brian, I think you read. Oh yeah, Brian, their Subaru, the MCM guys' Subaru was dope as hell. I'm not a big Subaru guy. Actually, I own 2 Subarus. Well, I killed 2 Subarus. I owned them before I killed them. Second gen GL wagons. One maroon, one blue, and I blew both of the engines on those. So that MCM Subaru was really cool. Really cool. I'm really impressed. What the Roadkill guys did, not as cool. Cutting out chunks of frame to fit an alternator, and then you can't run the alternator, but you're sponsored by Optima batteries, so we'll just run batteries all the way down. And then you have a fuel pump ground, and you're just going to jam a self tapper into the rail. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff like that I think people, for me, that's hard. The roadkill stuff is hard. But for other people, I think it's difficult when they find out the massive nature of what it takes to bring in a complete ship box and turn it into something that's really, really nice. I bought my Miata for $3,500, and it had a ton of rust, and I needed a ton of help. And I've spent hours and hours and hours on it, and it still has a ton of work that I can do on it. It looks nice and clean, and it runs great. It has a fresh engine, but there's still tons of work that has to get done on it. It could never go to a World of Wheels or a SEMA or PRI or anything like that. It's not that nice, but it is. It's a cool car. I love driving it. I love tracking it. So, you have to be careful about what you get into. You can spend a lot of time doing this. And I think a lot of people will see, they'll watch these shows. And the good part is someone like Kindig is like, okay, I'm going to draw it out. And then I have Kev Dog manage all the people. And he has incredible engineers, great frame guy, great engine guy. His interior guy, who's his interior guy? Justin? Fantastic. And these guys are all top level. And Dave pays them well, very, very well. With, that's correct, because they're just fantastic. So when you have a crew like that, it makes it a lot easier to do 3 or 4 cars a year, because you have all these other guys. When it's just you and you're sitting here and you've got a Miata and it has no compression on cylinder 3, and all you have is the Haynes manual and basic toolbox and some jack stands, it's going to be a long week, man. It's going to be a long week. Versus, the show that shows them do it in like I said, 48 minutes. They take it from, this got a totally blown engine and all this rust, and you got to replace the windshield, and let's do a full new suspension and carbon fiber drive shaft. And that's all done in 48 hours. And then this kid goes and buys this, today it'd be a $5,000 Miata, and he doesn't have the time to do all this stuff. He doesn't have the money. And all of a sudden it didn't take 48 minutes. And it's like, I'm not going to do it. And he gets rid of the Miata. And then he goes and, plays Pokemon Go in Antarctica. I don't know if anyone watched that. There's a guy named Matty K. Jordan, and he's a scientist, and he goes back and forth between New Zealand and Antarctica. And if you have any interest in Antarctica, it's actually very cool. He does very cool kind of day trip stuff, and he does daily sort of interesting facts. And yesterday he's like, someone asked him, can you play Pokemon Go in Antarctica? And he actually got the game, loaded it up, and he stepped outside, and it's in Antarctica right now, like 10 o'clock at night, full sun. It's the reverse of Alaska. Like in Alaska, northern Alaska, there's no sun for the next 4 months. So he steps outside and he shows his phone, and there's it was the skunk guy. I don't know Pokemon, And he's like, yeah, you captured the skunk in Antarctica, of all places. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Let's see. Yeah, where can I get a $3,000? You cannot. If you get a $3,000 Miata, you're going to need another $2,000 engine and another $1,000 soft top, and probably at least $1,500 in wheels, and then another $1,000 in tires. So that's if you get a $3,000 Miata. Let's see. I've owned one Subaru, turned it into a Ghostbuster, sold it. Wait, Brian. Yeah, I know, Brian. I know your car. I know we were there with Randy. I talked about uh, the Jamestown Jown car. The Jenkin Jown car. You guys saw that thing too, so you got to back me up on this. The Lincoln Town car covered in denim, like actual denim. It wasn't a wrap. Well, it was a wrap, but it was wrapped in denim. It was incredible. It was a huge vehicle. It was all denim, and it rained for 4 days. I cannot imagine what that thing weighed on Sunday afternoon, and then I can't imagine what it smells like today. They had to take that stuff off and just throw it away. It would have been absolutely dreadful. Yeah. Haynes Manuel, don't tell my secrets. Oh, sorry, Juan. Sorry, man. I won't tell people to look on YouTube at Brian's channel or any of the other awesome Miata guys. Definitely don't call Midwest Miata parts for any of your Miata stuff. I don't want to give away all the secrets. Yeah, no soft top. Just you want a hard top? That'd be another $2,500 unpainted. So Miatas used to be so cheap. You could get I got a really decent car for $3,500, and I put probably $10,000 or $12,000 into it, and I still have a really decent car. But I have a hardtop for it, and I have all powder coated suspension, and just put BC coilovers all the way around. Boss Frog roll hoops, and I mean this Miata is awesome. Fresh engine, and I have a spare engine, so you can paint. All right, dude. I'll do the Will Smith. I'm down. And I need you to critique the hell out of this. Actually, it's going to get professionally painted. This is all just protective and like de-Ohioing it. Because down here in Florida, the chances of me using the hardtop are very slim. You have a better chance of seeing the Pope's nuts. So I won't be using the hardtop at all. I just wanted to get it protected and looking halfway decent, because a lot of the paint from Mako, who originally painted it, started to peel and crack, not only up here on the top, but also back by the hinges. So I just wanted to get something clean. I didn't want it looking all janky. And since I don't have, a huge shop to be able to do all this stuff, I needed projects to do, and this was an easy one. Yeah, it's we're at 2,000 grit right now. So 2,000 wet, 2,000 dry, and still have another coat of black that will go on here. And after that, that will get 2,000 wet, and then we will go clear, and we'll keep doing clear coats. Probably do 3 to 4 clear coats and sanding in between. So we'll do the 2,000 grit and then the 4/0 steel wool, and get that, again, just basic stuff so that it's protected. In Ohio, you learn very quickly to protect stuff on your car. Corrosion starts almost immediately. As soon as you lose any of that covering, corrosion starts. And I have a piece of fiberglass that is rusted. Ohio can do that shit. It can rust fiberglass. So that's why people are like, hey, how can you, put TBL on all of your stuff? By the way, TBL, as soon as we talk about it, TBL is this stuff. Truck bed liner. I like the Rust-Oleum. There's a bunch of different brands, but I like Rust-Oleum. It works well. That's why, because if you live in an environment where you can get fiberglass to rust, I don't mean like show corrosion. I mean like rust, like poke through rust. That's bad. Good to suppress rust and paint over it. I know Krylon and Rust-Oleum, just for spray stuff, just rattle can stuff. There is, they have, it's not rust remover. It's like rust restorer. And there's a couple of different products. There's a paint on product, and it's called Corroseal. And you use a brush, you put it in a jar and you use a brush and you paint it on stuff. I used Corroseal on the Miata when I first got it. And yeah, fluid film is another one, but fluid film you got to keep redoing like every year. And then Corroseal, Corroseal. And then so there was Corroseal. There's the Rust Reformer, which I don't. That's in a rattle can. And then there's also Pour 15, but that's kind of that's also a Rust Reformer as well. And yeah, what they do is Rust Reformers turn things like Corroseal and Rust Reformer and Pour 15. They change the chemical makeup of the oxidized metal, and they're removing the oxygen from it, which turns it into oh god, of course you guys ask me, and now like all of my chemistry stuff flush just goes right down the toilet. I only got a C plus on my chemistry final. I'm sorry. Oh, it turns it into magnetite. When you remove the oxygen from the corrosive iron, it turns it into magnetite. And magnetite can then accept primers, paints, all this stuff. Magnetite is not transactive. What is it called? Where it keeps on going. I forgot what it's called, but it stops. Yeah, iron to magnetite. So it's oxidized iron to magnetite. When it removes that oxygen, or sort of, I guess it suffocates it, but it actually removes the oxygen, turns it to magnetite. Now magnetite can accept chemicals, and it doesn't spread. It doesn't keep going. Like corrosion will continue to spread and continue to eat away. This actually stops it, at least for a little while, enough for you to prep, primer, paint, powder coat, whatever. So that's where things like Corroseal, Rust Reformer, Pour 15, those are they're changing the chemical compound of the metal you're working on into something different that you can work with. And it's very helpful. Corroseal works great. It's pretty messy. One of my old fans at the shop, actually, I dripped some from a brush onto one of the blades, and it's black still. Corroseal ends up black. So it took the aluminum blade and it really darkened it. That's not racist. That's just the color that it turned it. So yeah, there's stuff like that out there. Obviously the really good way to do it is to sand or grind back down to the bare metal and prep it with bare metal. But sometimes you can't do that. It's a part that's on there or whatever, and you don't want to do that, like a support brace or something. So clean up all the big stuff, wire brush, whatever. Put on the Pour 15 or the Corroseal or the Rust Reformer, spray that on, and then you can move forward from there. Usually it's 12 to 24 hours for it to oxygenate. To remove the oxygen, it takes a little while, and you'll see it go fully black when it's like, I think it starts off kind of a dark blue, and then it goes full black, and then you're like, all right, well, now you can, sand it, paint it, primer it. You can do multiple coats of Corroseal and Pour 15 and stuff. Yeah, a 1-inch part, if it's removable and you can get it on a spray table or hang it, I would recommend the Rust Reformer. And a couple of passes with Rust Reformer. I think those are 24 hours. Cheap, easy, simple way to do it. If you want Corroseal usually comes in, I think they have them in 1 pint and 1 gallon jugs. Corroseal is kind of expensive. Very cool. Works very well. And Rust Reformer, you can get it at any, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's. I think a lot of auto parts stores carry it too. Auto parts stores will carry Port 15, and of course, you can get all this stuff online too. So yeah, dealing with corrosion. Living in Ohio, you deal with corrosion. Like I said, the second it's outside, and it doesn't matter. You can have it in the garage. Somehow, salt air gets into everything. It just happens. It's weird. Yeah, Rust Reformer. If you've got a small part or just a couple of small things, Rust Reformer would be great. $10 or something, and it'll last you 5 years. Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And also, in your testing, if you find something that works better or works different, please let me know. I love, finding out new products out there that work better than the old product. So if there's a Rust Reformer Plus, let me know, because I'm trying to keep up with everything, but I have a lot going on, so I miss a lot of stuff. And if you see a new product, there's the Rust Killer 2000, and it's this little screwdriver thing with a laser on it. Yeah. Where do I get that? Oh, it's $300. Oh, okay. Tell me where to get it. Whatever. You see stuff like that, definitely let me know. I'm a tool junkie, big time. Anything to make working on cards easier, I am about it. No, I am trying to be one person that doesn't know it all. That is for damn sure. Ask anyone who knows me. I'm trying to know it all. I'm trying to do it all, and I'm succeeding, which is pretty cool. And you guys help me out too, because you guys come in here and you're like, "Hey, what about this?" Or, "Hey, do you remember when we did that?" Or, "Tell us about this." And so you guys help me, keep current and keep bringing it back up. 29, the Metabow grinder. Oh, $29. Okay. Yeah. There's the tools on Amazon are kind of 50-50. There is some real garbage on Amazon, and then there's actually decent stuff. And surprise decent. It obviously straight from China, but you're like, hey, this actually works pretty well. So there are surprises. I've been surprised by the super cheapo stuff. You got to be careful with stuff like that. So yeah, back to the Carmageddon thing. Yeah, Metabow is a legit company. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of their stuff. They're no complaints on those guys. It's the Western Star RR with like 4 R's. Yeah, and those are the questionable companies. The companies whose names have no vowels, those are the questionable companies. I was looking at robotic mowers today for the yard here, and trying to score Black Friday deal and find out see what's out there. Who makes the best one? Who makes the cheap ones? And there's $400 robotic mowers. They are crap. They are really bad. Guys find them out in the street. Guys find them. Batteries on fire and shit like that. So yeah. And then you have really nice ones. You have the Husqvarnas and you have the brand names and stuff. So yeah, that would be kind of funny. Okay, so you think robotic mowers are expensive, and I did the math on this. So robotic mowers, a decent one, one that'll do the acre that I have here. Actually, it's just under, I think, 0.8 acres. I don't remember. Anyway, that'll do the yard here. And, because some of them come with little 6-inch blades and it'll take them a month to mow the yard. Others have like wide 13, 14-inch blades. So, or not blades, but cutting path. So a really good one with GPS, so you don't have to lay a boundary wire around. A decent one with normal programming that will actually do stripes, or you can program a design in, versus the random one that just kind of cuts over. They're about 1,500 bucks, and that's for a good one. That's a nice name brand one. So if it's 1,500 bucks for me to spend 1,500 bucks on a riding mower, because this yard is past push mower. If I got a riding mower, I would spend at least $2,000 for the Forrest Gump model riding mower. That's 2 grand, and then I have all the maintenance and upkeep and gas on that. So I'm 2,000 plus with that. Plus, I have to store it somewhere. I'm out of room right now storing stuff. So the other option is a lawn service. And here in Southwest Florida, I can throw a rock and hit an awesome lawn service. So lawn service is going to be 50 bucks. 50 bucks every 2 weeks or whatever. And let's say 50 bucks a week. We'll just do it. We'll do simple numbers. And so if that's 50 bucks a week, to get to $1,500, 30 weeks, which is less than a year. It's a little more than half a year, and that mower is paid for itself. So it's kind of short-term, long-term kind of thing. Yeah, I could sell a riding mower or whatever, but I don't have any place to put it. And right now, if I had my huge shop, I wouldn't really care. I'd just have the riding mower in there. If I didn't have 8 cars, I just, if I didn't have 2 motorcycles, I'd just put a riding mower here. But I think it makes sense to have a robotic mower. And with the type of grass that I have here, with the Bermuda grass and the St. Augustine, it makes sense to have a mower. And I have the yard it's got a little shape to it, but it's not like, it's not like Ohio where I have mounds and got to go around and ditches and stuff. It's very straightforward. So a robotic mower might be the way to go. So I've just been looking around, and that's one of those things. And also, it's a time thing. How much is your time worth? If I get a $2,000 riding mower and I spend 2 hours mowing, what's my time worth? $200 an hour, $100 an hour, $50 an hour. So, just have the mower go at 3 o'clock in the morning. He pops out and he's quiet and just mows a little path and goes back to his charger, comes back out tomorrow, does another section, just constantly keeps the grass cut. Be pretty simple. So get a goat and chickens. Yeah. I'm not going to do any livestock here. I'm not going to do any livestock. That would be, I would not have room. I guess technically in the back of the lot, I could have, a chicken coop or maybe some burrows. That would be cool. But I don't really have room for any kind of livestock back there. Not at least that I would find acceptable. They might find it acceptable, but I wouldn't want to do that to any livestock. They got better places to hang out. So yeah, with Carmageddon, you guys have to let me know what you're looking for and what shows or what kind of content you're looking for, because apparently this is about the good content that's out there, what people are watching, where the advertisers want to spend their money, and is it going private? Is it very specific? Is it the NB Miata channel, and they only do NB Miatas? They don't touch NAs or NCs or NDs or anything. Is it going just one person? One person, they do one project and it's slow. It's instead of one episode, it's 20, and for one car. And they're 2 hours long each. Is it the end of the car building era? Do people not want to see cars getting built anymore? Is that what's happening? Or do they want, they want actual reality? They want to see, stuff like what I do when I snap a bolt. You guys get to see it. I don't hide that shit. I don't edit it out. when we turn the key on the car and it starts on the second turn, you guys get to revel in the success with us. If it doesn't start, then you guys get to go, oh damn, with us. There's no fakery. There's no producer in the back going, hey, okay, it starts. All right, turn it off really quick. All right, now you guys, when we start it, pretend to be surprised. Okay, you ready? All right, 3, 2. There's none of that. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And fix it. So what's coming up? Is it going to be just parts? Is it going to be just drag racing? Will it be just, like I said today, offshore power boats? Those guys are bonkers, by the way. That's a lot of money, a lot of speed, and that's a lot of getting the shit beat out of you. Those guys out there, I mean, they're going to. I know top fuel guys get a lot of stuff, and I know endurance racing guys are in incredible shape. F1 guys are in great shape, but man, those powerboat guys, they get beat up. So, yeah, what do you think is coming? What is the direction that that people are going? They're trying stuff out. They tried, all these weird combinations and hoping something sticks, but it doesn't. It lasts, maybe a season, or it lasts, one show, and people are like, nope, this is not what we want. So, yeah, I have a personality for YouTube and I have looks for radio, right? So it's it's interesting to be a part of it. Also, something I've noticed over the last probably couple of years, it's also interesting to be the 1% of car guys that doesn't have a huge unkept beard. I'm very proud of that fact, that I don't have this gigantic bird's nest under my chin. Yeah. And it won't happen. No matter how much ZZ Top pays me. So, what is coming up? What's the combination that works for people? And how do I be part of that? How do I engage with that? And is it going to be more stuff like Cletus McFarland, where there's fun weekend stuff at Freedom Factory, and then he's going and doing other events. He's diversifying with his airfield and his helicopter, and he has this awesome family life. And then he does shows at the drag strip, which is next door to Freedom Factory. Is that what it is? Is it the versatility that is coming up, that you can cover kind of a whole bunch of stuff with, little bits? Or are you just going to smother, all over, the Mazda AutoZam channel? What's coming? What is gonna work for people? The one thing, and I mentioned this on Facebook, the one constant that's been going this whole time, which is really great, is Truck TV. Stacey David. He's that show has never been about trying to. It's never been about fakeness or trying to be fake real. They show parts and they showcase parts, and those are the advertisers for the show. You already know that ahead of time. They're not trying to sneak it in. And this program is brought to you by Holly Sniper EFI. And then he comes in and he's like, "Hey, you guys, we're going to put a Holly Sniper EFI on our 68 Camaro big block." You already knew that. You're not surprised. You didn't. They didn't try and dupe you, or sneak something in. So it's that one has always been great. So, like they said, protect Betty White, protect Stacey David, and I think we'll be okay. Also, consult with the OGs. Consult with Stacey David, Jeremy Clarkson, the guys at Auto Week. They've been doing it forever. I think they're still doing it. Talk to those guys. Find out what they want. Find out what's worked for them in the past and adapt that to the future. Top Gear is great. It was great, and the Grand Tour. The Grand Tour was considerably different, but Top Gear was great because there was actually fun car reviews. They took these crazy exotic cars and they had fun with it. And then they had a plain car and they put an F1 driver in it, and then or a star, and then they had these crazy adventures. And so you had that big diverse circle that worked really well. And you had these three characters, four if you count the Stig, and you had a really really good combination. And Andy Willman knew that. He knew that he had absolutely champagne in a bottle. So that's why they did the Grand Tour. And then the Grand Tour was more about seeing the world. And that was a lot of fun. I really liked the Grand Tour because those guys, they were great. They did a lot of really, really cool stuff. Unfortunately, the very last episode, you could tell that the cars from the original Africa trip were staged at that. Sorry, I don't mean to do a spoiler alert, but it was pretty painfully obvious. So yeah. Oh wait, what are you guys saying? All this stuff pops up later when you guys type it. Looks for radio. Do things that people can relate. I'm hoping that I'm doing that here. Normally we're not doing Ferraris. Normally we are doing Miatas. We're doing C10 trucks. We're doing, normal cars. We're doing oil changes on those. We're doing, shock replacements and nothing, new brakes and rotors on John's Mustang. We're not doing anything crazy exotic. This isn't an F1 engine out service. Leave that stuff to Leno's Garage. They can do that stuff, right? Content creator world for car guys is hard to find. Chris Fix, I've heard, is great. I've not seen any of his stuff, but people shout up and down about him, so I'm sure he's great. I don't know anything about Fuzzy Dice or Vice Grip. I've heard a couple things about Vice Grip, but I don't really know much about him. I haven't heard anything bad, but I also I don't know. So it's one of those things. Is that where we're going? We're going to individual channels where you have a guy in a helmet, and that's his shtick, and that works for people. Okay. Do you have do you keep going with something like Truck TV with Stacey David, where it's a straight up, I don't want to say, but it's an advertising platform, but there's also knowledge gained from it because they tell you it's basically an instruction manual, a visual instruction manual for whatever product is on that week. And we're doing Borla exhaust on this 73 C10. Okay, cool. You got to look out for the parking brake cable, whatever. You get some of the stuff in there. Is it fast edits? Is it do you want 2-second edits and just flashy cars and strobe lights and strippers and pyro? Is that what it is? Juan, you're not a common YouTube consumer, so okay. Yeah, okay. For many, I watch what others say is boring. Yeah, I get a lot of that with one of my inventions. I have an installation video, and it is insanely boring. I even put background music to it, and that did not help it at all. But it's one take. There's no editing in it, because I didn't want people to feel fooled that it would take them longer than 20 minutes to put this thing in. So I did. It took me a long time because I dropped a lot of F-bombs, and I would drop a screwdriver on the floor or something. So it took me a few takes to do it, but I did all of them in one take so that people would see that this was real. And then they were so dull and so boring. One of my artists actually sent me music. It's like, you have to put this music in the background because this is painful to watch just without anything else, with just you talking and showing how to do this. So if you do boring but straight to the point, also help people fix stuff, you'll be watched. Okay, yeah, that's the plan. And like I said, some of those guys, Chris Fix, and I'm sure Vice Grip Garage are getting paid, and they're getting paid huge amounts of money. They have tons of advertising, and they get paid by YouTube. I do not get paid a single dime for this. YouTube has never sent me a check for anything. So I do this for me to learn and for you guys to learn. And since you guys are asking me, I'm getting the emails. I'm seeing the people, subscribing and the notifications and stuff. So seeing that stuff reinforces everything that I do. And I just want to keep going and keep doing stuff like, how do you do a cool headliner in a Miata hardtop? All right, well, I'll show you. How do you repair the latches on a Miata hardtop? And, how do you install aftermarket mirrors on a 2019 Honda Grom? Stuff like that. I can do that stuff for you guys and hopefully make it at least a little bit interesting. So people would watch that topping. Yeah, and I thought about doing like a time lapse, but it would have been one of those that the time lapse would have been kind of boring, and also I had to change positions on this a bunch of times, so the time lapse probably wouldn't have looked very cool. You can see the overspray down there from where the stands were. So I've had to move this a couple of times, and so the time lapse would not have looked as cool. They'll watch it, yeah. That's the other good part. When you have a recognizable car like a Miata or a Viper or a Corvette, Mustang, something like that, I think people enjoy that and they pass that along to their friends. So they're like, oh yeah, watch this guy because he actually does it the right way, versus, XYZ out there who just kind of, arc welded his brake pads to his rotor and called it good. I don't know, you see some weird shit out there. So yeah, you guys, let me know what you think is coming, and let me know what combinations you like. If you like the combination of people driving but also working on cars, or people describing how cool a car is, or just videos, cool lighting, driving down the street, burnouts, huge jumps in trophy trucks, in sand dunes. Where was that guy? I saw just a massive trophy truck sand jump last week. I have no clue. I'm guessing they were in Dubai somewhere. It was huge, absolutely huge. It had to be 150 feet. It was a huge jump. So let me know what you guys think, and I'm just kind of curious what's out there. Oh, don't worry about me, man. My stuff's going to be all the same. I'll have a different haircut, and now that I'm in Florida, I'll probably be wearing a thong more often. So those will be the only changes, really. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty much all the same cars. Hopefully, you guys laughed at that. Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm hoping to be in the mix with them. I would love to be a part of it, even if it's a teeny tiny part of it. Anything to help you guys out and to keep the people coming back and wanting to do more car stuff is what I'm really, really hoping for. Do more cool car stuff, driving, working on it, racing, regular maintenance, whatever it is. I'm definitely going to do that with you guys. Might be a little different location. It's going to be the same dude. Yeah. Juan, you are definitely English is your second language. Because the JA is Spanish or Central Mexican or Central American or South American. So I have tons of friends from there. By the way, I'll give you guys a pro tip. If you're going to ship anything to Mexico or Central America or South America, so I had to send this guy a part. It was just a warranty replacement part. And I sent him the part, and it was going to Mexico City. And boxed it up and had the correct label. It was the customs form and all that stuff. And it's not metal and it's not illegal. And I sent it off. And a couple weeks later, the guy says, hey, I never received the package. And I'm like, well, I sent it out. I can only track it to the border, and then I can't track it once it gets into Mexico. Tell you what, I'll send you another one. And he goes, okay, that would be great. I really appreciate it. I said, do all the same stuff. I sent him another one. Again, another couple weeks later, he's like, I never received the second one either. I was like, damn. All right. Well, I don't know how else to do this. I mean, I can overnight it to you. He's like, no. Here's what you do. And this is going to sound kind of bizarre. It's weird, but it worked. He said, on the box, put a picture of Jesus. And I didn't have any pictures of Jesus laying around. So I went to the local grocery store, and those candles, and they have the picture of Jesus on there. So hopefully that's not blasphemous. I just took a picture of that, and I printed it out, and I put it on the side of the box next to the address label. And it was a really small box, and it was a very small picture. And I sent it to the guy. 4 days later, I get an email from the guy, and he says, thanks for sending it. I told you that the picture of Jesus would work, and it got here. It was amazing. Amazing. So the JA tells me that Spanish is your first. And that's just, that's a complete and total guess just from talking with my friends who are from Mexico and Central America and South America. So that's my guess. You can tell me I'm way off. I'm like, no, I'm actually from Turkey. But yeah, it's weird. They have a lot more respect for anything with a Jesus reference on it. Once it clears the U.S. borders, it becomes a very, very important piece. And I didn't realize that. It wasn't something that, as a business owner, you don't really put that into play. But when he recommended it, I was like, wow. And so the other packages that I've sent to South America, Mexico, and Panama and stuff, they've all had that on there, and I have not received email back saying, hey man, I never got the package. So it works. It works, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's different. They have, it's different. If you want really different, go to Japan. You get totally different customs and traditions and how things are done over there. It's a big world, man. Big world. Yeah. Yeah, that was the other suggestion, was a picture of the Virgin Mary. Jesus is the Virgin Mary, and it'll get wherever it's going. They treat that like, it is. It's very it's a big deal. They don't, throw that away or put it in a dumpster or anything. They make sure that it goes where it's supposed to go. Yeah. So that was cool. I was glad to learn that. It's made the business a lot easier because I don't have to send out 3 different parts 3 different times. I can send one package and it gets there. It's been very helpful. So that's about it for tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out for a couple hours and talking about racing and talking about the future of car stuff and what we're doing. I hope there's no more, cancellations or ends of series and stuff like that. I hope that, everyone keeps going with stuff. But at the same time, I understand why, it's happening. The Hoonigan thing, all those guys, and what's the donut? All those guys bailing on donut and all of that stuff. I get that. I understand it, and it's bigger and better things. So we'll see what the future brings. But I'm really curious how it's going to go. In the meantime, I'm going to keep doing this stuff. I'm going to keep racing. I'm going to keep building race cars and crazy ass cars like the limo. And I'm going to keep hanging out with you guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. I'm glad you do. Yeah, Brian, it really did work. I swear, man. I swear on my 1.8 liter in my Miata that it worked. I swear on the other 1.8 liter spare engine that it worked. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks you guys for hanging out tonight. Like I said, feel free to comment below, send me a message, whatever. Don't forget to subscribe and pass along the subscription thing. We'll come back and we'll do some clear coat on the smooth. It's not even close. It does feel like an orange. Yeah, we'll keep going on this stuff. We've got power steering lines for the Miata, so we'll be doing that soon too. I'll do kind of an overhead for you guys if you watch me replace those lines. And yeah, same. Brian, Juan, Diane, Liz, all great to see you guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. If you got questions, whatever, definitely send them. I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, Brian, I'll see you in Atlanta. I'm jazzed, man. We'll have some more MR6 stuff, and I'll also do the theme reveal. Probably do that on YouTube, but I think you follow me on YouTube or on Instagram as well, so you'll catch it over there. But we'll also do it. I'll do it here on YouTube as well, so you get to see the theme, and hopefully you approve. We'll see. So yeah, thanks everyone, and I'll catch you on the next live where we'll take the Miata apart. We'll have some fun with that. Don't forget to show someone that you love them. Give them a kiss on the cheek, give them a kiss on the tip of their nose, hold their hand, give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it's far more important for you. All right, thanks everyone. I will catch you tomorrow. Have a great night. Cool. Rolling stool.